Welcome to the Being There podcast. Stories from the road, where we keep the rubber side down. These are stories written by my father, Gene McAlmont. Commentary by his son, me, John McAlmont. This is episode 5, Familiar Places. A motorcycle can take you many places. It opens doors of friendship almost everywhere. It is as if it were a magic carpet unfettered by time and place. And yet perhaps the best place it can take you is home. Here is Familiar Places. I slammed the phone down in an uncharacteristic display of frustration at having not come up on some automated database. Yet again, press 1 to enter your last 4 digits for the 20th time, or press 2 to get a life. My allergies were bugging me, and I was in no mood to hear why some automated answering system couldn't understand my last 4 telephone digits. I really needed that allergy prescription. I sat on the side of my bed wondering why I wasn't in some better place, looking at the mountains or smelling the fresh air of a high plains desert. So, I wasted no time finding my helmet and rolling the bike out of the garage. Big Bend was a bit too far away for a casual ride, so I turned the bike toward a familiar road up through the rolling grasslands of north-central Texas. The wind rushing past my helmet and over my leather jacket refreshed my body and calmed my mind. The steady cadence of the Ducati ST2 echoed across my senses as I rolled the throttle back, gaining speed towards the next corner. It didn't take all that long for me to leave the digitally controlled world behind. I rolled up through Forestburg and on past St. Joe. I took the gentle corners up 103 past Spanish Fort and through Illinois Bend and eventually found my way back to Munster. The spirited ride had almost emptied the tank, so I pulled into a local station. This place had the sense of familiarity, although it was a gas station like so many others. I paid the attendant, sat on the curb watching the motion of the small town. Pickups hauling farm supplies moved through the intersection. An old car pulled into the local pharmacy. This was a familiar place. I knew it well. The Ducati sprang to life with a touch of the starter button, and the tambourine clutch rattled out its invitation to roll. These things, too, were familiar. The road was almost empty except for an occasional pickup. It was a working day for most people. I rolled on through the familiar countryside, gliding across familiar roads, seeing familiar things. I felt as if I were part of the road, a part of the scenery, somehow connected to things around me. I had made a full circle, arriving once again in Forestburg from Highway 922. I saw another rider sitting alone on a bench in front of the general store, his sport touring bike parked next to him. I pulled alongside and set the ST2 on its side stand and propped the helmet on the handlebar. Mind if I sit for a while? He was heading home to St. Louis from a trip to Abilene to visit his son. His bike was packed for touring and had the appearance of a well-used but well-maintained machine. We spoke of familiar things like companionship of fellow riders, like how 2 strangers on motorcycles could always find something to talk about, like how the journey was as much part of the experience as the destination. We talked about familiar roads and familiar experiences, and what it felt like to be connected to a familiar motorcycle and a cherished pair of old jeans. I had never met this man before, but we shared a common experience. We said our goodbyes, and he headed on the road toward home. I sat there alone on the bench and felt the warming rays of the morning sun on my face. I could hear the occasional pop and ping of the cooling V-twin engine at my side. The cool breeze caressed my face and tossed my thinning hair from side to side. I could hear children laughing and playing in the daycare center across the way, and I could feel the slants of the old bench pressing into my back. These, too, were familiar things. My motorcycle takes me to familiar places. It takes me to the mountains and to the shore. It propels me across high mountain deserts and through tree-lined forest roads. It takes me to the grocery store, and it takes me to... I felt the unmistakable tingling and pressure of a sneeze coming on. Oh boy. I reached for a tissue I had stuffed in my riding jacket, but it was gone. My eyes watered up, and the sneeze echoed off the surrounding buildings with an explosive volume. The whole town seemed to stand still. Locals looked to see if I had survived. I put my jacket on and thought about what it was like to sneeze in a full-face helmet. I would undoubtedly find out. I pulled out onto the road, struggling to suppress the tinkling in my noise. My motorcycle takes me places, familiar places. But the most familiar place of all is home. I felt ready to face the digital world once again. It was the only way I was going to get that damn allergy medicine. Familiar Places. Written by G. McAlmont. Narrated by John McAlmont. I think we could all relate to the automated services in our world. Last 4 digits of your social, last 4 digits of your phone number, press 1, press 2. I wonder what my father would think of the AI revolution now and how many things truly are automated. It would be a great conversation I would love to have with him. But most importantly, it's the common bond of something we love that really holds us all together. A common joy, a common enthusiastic wonder that makes us put ourselves on 2 wheels and ride down the road. It reminds me so much of the time that I moved to Los Angeles, me and my Ducati, and met a great friend at the gym who also had a motorcycle. He and I raced together, both YSR 50s, and raced at Willow Springs. We were inseparable at times. We had really nothing in common other than the fact that we loved motorcycles. Moved from Los Angeles back to my home in Texas. I had the bike and what little materialistic things I was taking back from LA loaded into a U-Haul. And he followed me out of town on his motorcycle. His way of saying goodbye. I often wonder what happened to that good friend of mine. I've Googled his name several times and nothing really comes up. I wonder if he's still riding motorcycles. Then I wonder when I'll ride a motorcycle again. Thank you for listening and spending this time with me. If this stirs your soul like it stirs mine and you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and follow the podcast so you don't miss future readings and commentary. All written material featured in this podcast is the original work of my father and used with his permission. The thoughts and opinions I share are my own. This recording is for personal listening only. My voice likeness and performance are protected and may not be recorded, reproduced, or used in any form of AI training, cloning, or synthetic replication without my explicit written consent. Thanks again for being here. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and safe travels.